YouTube, VidHead85 here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about something. Okay, one thing I talked about was how, okay, I had gotten into a spirited argument with one of my former Facebook friends, and they decided to tell me about how one time that I was sexist because I suggested that an abuse victim could have been lying. Now, that's not very sexist because an abuse victim very well can be lying, or, well, the fact is she may not be a victim at all. And they said that that's very sexist, and I'm like, well, do women lie about being abused to get back at their boyfriends or husbands? They do. So I believe that, you know, for that, I think that domestic violence, when any call of domestic violence comes in, you take them both down to the station. You sort it out, and then you process the paperwork. That's how I feel. A cop from California said, well, why should we punish the victim too? Bluntly, we punish the victim a lot. And that's stupid, yes, but it's a reality. It doesn't make it right. But the whole fact is, for me, I would rather see that as a solution as opposed to just arresting somebody falsely and then, they just get charged with filing a false report, and that's the end of it. I don't know. Maybe call that vindictive, but it is what it is. So get angry with me, whatever. I don't care. But for me, there was also something, a few of them saying, well, what about the woman? She's a victim. Well, aren't men also victims of domestic violence as well? From women? Can women also be perpetrators? And can women be perpetrators too? Can men be victims as well? The fact is, they're all thinking about the woman being abused, but they may not think about men also being abused in many cases, because we don't see that enough. We don't see that, and nobody makes a big deal of funding for shelters and different things like that for them. So coming back to it, what happens when a person is a victim but they're not a sympathetic one, like when it's mutual combatancy? Okay, like in that case, if it's mutual combatancy, both of them should go to jail apparently. But some people said that as far as the abuse angle, that punishing both of them by taking them down to the station isn't wise. I would disagree, and respectfully. Unsympathetic victim of a uppercut was a woman on a Chicago bus, RTA bus. She just, okay, first she's berating him, and he's berating her back. And she appears to strike him, but we can't see if that happened completely unobstructed, because there's a guy in the way who looks to have like a bus aid vest on, and she looks to strike. She seems to strike him. Then he says, "You going to jail now? You going to jail now?" Pow! And called me a bastard for smiling about it, but you know what? That woman got what she deserved, and I'll put a link to it. You know what? We look at women as victims of violence all the time, and while it is true that happens, sometimes in situations, like that. She had it coming, and if it wasn't from him, it would have been from somebody else. It might have been another girl. It might have been another guy. It could have been somebody else, to be blunt with you. Because the attitude that she's portraying is like, really, woman, just be quiet. Like, really, why don't you just sit down somewhere and just leave him alone? So, and I may be looked at like a cold, heartless bastard, but you know what? Look at that video and tell me that she didn't have it coming. And if it was a man, you would have been like, there would not have been there would have been, it would have just simply been a brawl, and nobody would have cared. So if that was a man who got uppercutted, it would have been like, oh oh my goodness, and it would have went viral even faster. But because it's a woman, we have to look at it as, oh, well, she's the victim of a horrible man. And also, this former Facebook friend, she definitely had a chip on her shoulder about being a woman and confronting men. And I'm like, look, whatever that bag of chips is on your shoulder, you need to eat the fucking things and get the fuck over it. I'm sorry. Yes, I know it's difficult being a woman in a man's world. I hate using that term. But it's also difficult being an English speaker in a Spanish speaking world. And vice versa. So you know what? You have a reality that you deal with. And in this one, that woman deserved it. So, you know what? Call me a heartless bastard of a fucktard if you will. I don't give a damn. Leave comments in there. I don't condone violence against women, but this woman surely deserved it. I don't care what anybody says.